And we are out here on this beautiful day at Isaac Walton, and we're learning all about ENDEX Archery since May is Military Appreciation Month. So we are getting our bow and arrow out, and she is Katniss Everdeen, and I'm a very, very sad green arrow, but she's really good. But we are learning all about this nonprofit and the wonderful work they do for those with PTSD. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so Jason, tell me a little bit about ENDEX and how you began.
So ENDEX, well, I'll start off with the name. ENDEX is a military acronym for the end of exercise. So to me, it was putting an end to an exercise and futility. That was, many veterans' approach to mental health. So I started in 2019 mentoring people. I found through my own personal struggles with post-traumatic stress that archery was a huge relief for me, and ultimately led me down a path of seeking professional mental health counseling and to a path of wellness. So I started off mentoring people and very quickly realized that this was something I wanted to make a nonprofit to be able to pay for the equipment that we now donate to veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, or anyone struggling with post-traumatic stress.
And how does archery help with PTSD?
So there's many facets to what we're doing and how archery helps. The most basic one, though, is that archery is a form of meditation. It requires an intense mind-body connection to really harness the power of archery. And through that mind-body connection, we give our brain a break. We let our subconscious start working on the trauma that's affecting us, and we have a lot of fun doing it. But ultimately, what I try to capture when it comes to our program is there's a split second. There's a moment that occurs when you've got the bow at full draw and you're ready to release that arrow. And it's a moment where you're focused on your target and kind of everything else in the world disappears. You're not happy in that moment, but you're not sad. You're just at peace. And what we do is we find that moment and then we explode it. And we really dive into it and do a lot of work there and have a lot of conversations about that moment with people.
And speaking of which, we're out here at Isaac Walton today, and you walked us through the courses here, and tell us what you taught us.
Yeah, so the first thing that we went over was the fundamentals of archery, because before you can shoot a bow, you got to learn how to do it properly and safely. So we covered some safety rules, and we worked on our stance, how we grip the bow, how we anchor the bow when we pull back, and we really focused on, for you guys, kind of the hardest aspect of archery, which is instinctive shooting with a recurve bow. But it's really the best way to kind of, in a short period of time, capture that moment that I'm looking for, where, as you guys saw, you really had to be intently focused on what you were doing, otherwise things go haywire.
Very good point. And archery is not cheap, right? And you're always looking for funds to keep ENDEX going.
Yes, we're 100% donor driven, and we are all volunteers, everyone who's a part of ENDEX. So we really rely on donors to accomplish our mission. For what we're working on right now is mostly compound archery, and a package for a typical hero is around $1,800. And all the money that we've raised for the 26 veterans that our 26 heroes we've worked with so far has been through donations through either local businesses or just average citizens. If people have archery equipment they want to donate, we've gone through several used bows and we refurbish those. We work with industry partners to get new strings and new equipment on those bows to put those in the hands of our heroes as well. And then there's also the equipment that is required to maintain the bows themselves, as far as bow presses, bow vise, arrow saws, all these other things that we use. I have a small shop at my home, and then we also have a network of ambassadors that we're building across the country, so any equipment that we can put in their hands to help them accomplish this mission as well.
And you actually go through this process with your veterans or whoever's receiving support, and they learn as time goes and they go up to the compound bow, right?
Yes, yeah. We start the first couple hours that we spend with someone, they're not even holding a bow. We're just working on those fundamentals, and then we walk them through different types of bows until they're ready for their compound bow, and we fit that to them to meet their size and their strength. And then we go from there, but it's a continuous process.
And what kind of response have you gotten from your heroes?
I've gotten an overwhelming response. Not only is this providing them an outlet and that form of meditation I talked about, but in one case we've had a hero who his wife took an interest in archery because of our program. She started shooting with them. Now they have these date nights, but because of their bond over archery, the things that he experienced when he was in Iraq, he never talked about. And now they have all these conversations about this, and it's brought them a lot closer together. And what he found out, was how supportive his wife is. He was of the mindset where he didn't want to burden her with his trauma. but the opposite occurred, and now she's his biggest supporter.
And I love the story behind the buffalo on your shirt. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so a couple years ago, just as ENDEX was starting, I saw a motivational speaker talking about, the buffalo is the only animal in the Western Plains that when it senses a storm coming over the mountains, it will turn and run directly at the storm. The buffalo knows that if it runs at the storm, it's going to get through it quicker, it's going to spend less time in misery. Every other animal runs away from the storm and it catches up to them. So we really encourage our heroes to be a buffalo and to look back into the past. That storm is their trauma, and we're going to face it head on together, and we're going to get through it and be a better person at the end of the day.
If you'd like to help support, donate, or participate in ENDEX Archery, give Jason a call at 575-551-6005. Find ENDEX Archery on social media or head online to endexarchery.org.